Riley.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Riley, first of all, thank you very much. It's nice to see you again. We met ourselves at a CPAC in DC this last week, and it's a great honor to talk with you and see that we have a lot of Americans and stand on the same side of us down here in Brazil. And my first question actually is to ask you to talk to us here in Brazil about your experience. How was to compete against a transgender in a swimming pool?
Right. First, let me give you a little background on myself. I started swimming at the age of 4 and all the way through college, so I've swam competitively for 18 years. It's impossible to put into words the amount of time and the sacrifices that you make to compete at that level. I've tried for the Olympics twice. I've done some really incredible things in my career. And so my senior year of college, we were told we would be competing against biological male Leah Thomas. Upon looking up who Will Thomas was as a male, we were able to see that William Thomas, which was his male name, was ranked 462nd among the men. Of course, transitioning to female, now Leah Thomas was leading every female in the nation.
It's the final in a women's 500-yard freestyle. That should be safe. The three-time Ivy League champion Leah Thomas was the top qualifier in the prelims. She swam forward.
She was really solid this morning in the prelims. I didn't think she took a hard stroke the entire 500.
Through the prelims earlier. And it was 2 Texas Longhorns. You mentioned Erica Sullivan. She was pushed into the first 350 meters. Thomas wins the NCAA championship. And she's the favorite again tomorrow in the 200-yard freestyle. Wyatt takes second, Erica Sullivan third, and now Leah Thomas is with Elizabeth Beisel.
Leah, how did that performance measure up to your expectations coming into this meet tonight?
I didn't have a whole lot of expectations for this meet. I was just happy to be here, trying to race and compete as best as I could.
That first day of competition at our national championships, which is of course the meet where you have the fastest swimmers in the country come together and race. I watched on the side of the pool as Leah Thomas again swam to a national title, beating out Olympians, American record holders, the most impressive female swimmers of all time by seconds, by body lengths. So that next day of competition, Thomas and I competed against each other in the 200 freestyle, and you asked me how I felt. It felt like I was going into this race with my hands tied behind my back. It's impossible, even myself who's put in so much work, so much dedication, so much time, it felt impossible for me to beat this person who has male advantage. Males, of course, they have larger heart, larger lungs, of course they're taller. When you go through puberty as a male, there are irreversible advantages males are given, and that's obvious. It doesn't take a biologist or a scientist to know that males are advantageous when it comes to something that requires athleticism and strength.
If I can interrupt you just for a while, because people who say that transgender competing against women is something that the science proves that is something that is fair. Can you tell us about, from the point of view of the biology, if this is really fair, what does the science tell you about that?
We have science that tells us that is not true. Science has evolved in a way where we now know, even a year, 2 years, 3 years on hormone suppressors, it does not change or it changes your testosterone levels, but it does not make them computable to the levels of a female. The average female's testosterone levels is anywhere from 0.8 to 1.2 nanomoles per liter. The average male is 20 times higher than that. So even with these men reducing their testosterone levels, they're not reducing it enough to where it's fair. And even if they were to get to fair levels, there are still certain things that will never change with hormone suppression. Like I said, your heart size, your lung size. It sounds silly, but even the size of your throat. Men have a 40% larger throat than women, which is a huge factor to success in swimming. Of course, you want a larger throat to get more air into your body to oxygenate your muscles. So science tells us this is not fair. And I also think it's kind of ironic that the same people telling us to follow the science, this is the same people who told us that during COVID. And look at what's happened there. These people are not following the accurate, real, unbiased science. There is simply no credible medical professional whose expertise is in physiological development who would tell you that men can be computable with women even with testosterone suppression.
Other thing is, this week here in Brazil, on March 8th, the most voted congressman in the last election, Nicolas Ferreira, he made a speech in the Congress telling that women are losing space for transgenders, mainly in competition, in female competition. It's very curious that the opposite doesn't happen. You don't see a transgender women that became a man competing against men, in the MMA, UFC, or even soccer, whatever. But the thing is, what is happening now with Nicolas Ferreira is the left is trying to cancel him, trying to say that his speech was all about, they say, transgender phobia. Do you have something like that in the US? What happened in the field? The left also tried to cancel you in US?
Absolutely. I get labeled all the time as a transphobe or a bigot, or I'm so hateful and I'm not inclusive, and what I'm doing is not kind. But in reality, it's not inclusive to allow these men to compete with us. It's exclusive. We're excluding female athletes. It's not kind to do this. And these exact comments that people comment all the time on my social media, this is the exact reason why more people who are in my position aren't speaking out. I know how my competitors felt. I know how Leah Thomas's teammates felt because I've had great conversations with them. And they feel exactly how I feel, but they're so scared to talk about it because they don't want to be canceled. And I saw that video and I thought it was incredible. He was kind of making a mockery of the people who are making a mockery of women. Trans women who think womanhood is about long hair and makeup and heels and dresses. That is not what womanhood is, and it's offensive. It makes a mockery, especially in sports, of everything that I've dedicated my entire life to. Women are more than just the testosterone level, and we're more than just the hair and the makeup and the dresses.
Very nice. The same Congressman Nicolas Ferreira, he got a flight this week too, and there was a former Big Brother in this aircraft, and started to discuss with him, saying that he was someone that transphobic man and things like that. And this former Big Brother, after all of the discussion inside of the plane, she told that it was 200 passengers supporting this Congressman Nicolas Ferreira, and only 2 people supporting her opinion. She was defending the transgender competing against women. Do you feel the same? I mean, do you think the majority is supporting you, or the majority thinks that you are a transphobic woman?
The overwhelming majority supports my stance. Even within, so obviously we have our left and our right. Of course, nearly 100%, if not 100% of the right agrees with me. But even within the left, we have these Democrat delegates and Congress members who are voting in opposition of everything that protects women. But even within the left, there was a recent poll that came out that 60 to 70% of even Democrats don't agree with this. And so these
inside of the left, 60 to 70%.
Yeah. And nearly 85% of independent voters. Again, this is in regards to sports. These people know that men and women are different. So these legislators who are voting to, allow to have men and women sports, they're not even representing their own party accurately. I can wholeheartedly attest that majority of the people, regardless of where you stand on this political spectrum, agree with me, agree with you, and our stances on this issue.
We know that in U.S., the states Congress, they are more notorious, sometimes even more than the federal Congress in D.C. How is this issue handled inside of the state Congress in the U.S.? Do you have some states that are creating new laws talking that is forbidding this kind of